brought into by my friend and open source ambassador Hans de Raad. Hans, welcome in this Friday Ketchup. We are going to talk about what's coming up in this year on events in open source, and then specifically already this month, because FOSDEM is coming to us.
Yes, every year, yeah, the pinnacle of open source, I would say deodorant use in Brussels. It's an interesting event, but what I personally really like is how much more of kind of also a business and political ecosystem is growing around FOSDEM. FOSDEM always used to be about awesome technology and community and collaboration and academic level mainly. I've been speaker at FOSDEM at several occasions on cybersecurity topics as well. So the shift has been already setting a couple of years ago that it was just about technology, or mainly about technology, and now also moving into kind of the business-like organizational ecosystem. And I like that. It adds relevance, and software and systems aren't built in a vacuum. They have an ecosystem supporting them and implementing them. And I like that. Especially also SUSE is now doing the Open Source Week ahead of FOSDEM, and lots of other organizations like Open Forum Europe have had their policy summit around it. So I'm really looking forward to Brussels. Chocolates, mussels, open source, Brussels, Belgian beers, could be worse.
Absolutely. Hey, and we were opening with Metropolis, Kraftwerk. Is there a story behind it?
Of course there is. It's the theme for me for this year, for just about any event that I'm going to be speaking at, is digital sovereignty. I don't have to explain why, let's say, the element of sovereignty all of a sudden is on everybody's mind, but it has been already. And Metropolis, the film, the movie, came out almost 100 years ago. It was from 1927, I think, and it's all about this woven interdependency of system upon human labor upon system. And you have these workers that are working underground. They don't know the systems that they're using. They don't know about them. They can't control them. And then all of a sudden, the systems start failing. And the whole of society is collapsing. And it's pretty much, the XKCD comic about the whole internet, and then the one component maintained by this one person in Nebraska, whether or not it's Nebraska or Zagreb or Brussels or wherever. It's, we are finally, as also a political environment in Europe, looking at the whole supply chain of what we're building as systems, and this is very much needs to happen. And it's not just a pessimistic picture, everybody is at the moment more in a kind of a panic mode about all the interesting steps that are being taken by some former ally. Let's just not go deeper than that, but actually the album from which Metropolis comes by Kraftwerk, it's called Mensch Machine, the man machine. It's about the collaboration between man and machine. And you know that I'm active in several standardization work groups and also several other cybersecurity and interoperability related committees. And we tend to talk more about augmented intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. And I think that's this album, besides being absolutely awesome, it's from the late 1970s, and it's really Kraftwerk invented techno. And it's really a European thing, and everything after that was built on those foundations. And it's kind of, obviously there's a German connection, Kraftwerk coming from Düsseldorf, excellent engineering, SUSE coming from Nuremberg, very much also being an engineering powerhouse. So I thought that tied together very nicely.
Cool. Hey, and that's great. Then we talked already about FOSDEM. We have several events nowadays around FOSDEM. It used to be just the weekend, but now it's also starting already. I saw on Monday. If you want to check everything which is happening, check opensourceweek.eu. There is a lot of mentioning of all the events. And there are a few events I want to point out. One is an event that I'm very proud of myself, because we as SUSE, we invite, I would say, all sorts of open source executives to come and join us for our, we like the word joke, sovereignty. So come have a tea with us in Brussels. And if you want to, yes, exactly. If you want to know more about that, check out opensourceweek.eu website. There is mentioning there, and I'll put a reference to the sovereignty event. Then there is, of course, FOSDEM itself. I have my talk there. I'm accepted as a speaker. Will you be speaking as well?
Not this year. I won't be, although I have see several friends of mine from the standardization committee also talking about sovereign AI and other environments. So no, I'm not a speaker at FOSDEM this year. I may step on a soapbox here and there at a certain event that you may have mentioned before. And otherwise I'll be around probably at the OAC event as well. But unfortunately I have other engagements over the weekend. But it's great to meet with so many people around FOSDEM. And I think, one of the most variable elements of FOSDEM aren't even the talks themselves. It's the whole rate track around it and being able to meet all the people that are there or that are in Brussels anyway. So yeah, look, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I find really interesting is that it started off with only people wearing hoodies, like you are wearing a hoodie, but now it's the award session is really gala. So we are really wearing shirt and tie for the award sessions by the Open Source Academy. That's really funny as well. So on Thursday evening, I'll be wearing shirt and tie, and then during the weekends, it will be a hoodie most certainly.
Yeah, it's in between the shirt and the shorts. Yeah. Maybe not because of the weather, but yeah, I get it.
That was the name of the blog I had last year. Something like from hoodie to suit, or from suit to hoodie, or something like that.
Yeah, nice.
And I am actually going to talk about the Cloud Sovereignty Framework. So if anyone wants to know more about the Cloud Sovereignty Framework, make sure that you make it over on Sunday. I see here 11:10 in Henriot, in the room Henriot in University of Brussels, where FOSDEM is happening. And
it's a very sensible time anyway. I mean, I once had a talk about the European Cybersecurity Act at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. I'm not even sure if I would have been allowed to drive at that time. Let me just put it like that.
Yeah, that's a hard one. And did you have audience at 9 o'clock in the morning?
It was packed. It really was packed. It was very interesting. We had a lot of core technology people there that wanted to know what this common criteria was all about, and how to draft up your protection profiles and how to determine your test strategy and coverage and all that. It's really nice. I like how a lot of the open source community is also interested in topics that I would say are more related to kind of quality assessments and quality assurance than just software engineering. Because for me, cybersecurity as well as digital sovereignty are all concepts that revolve around quality assurance and business continuity management. Cybersecurity is not a thing on its own. You implement certain measures and controls because you want to have continuity in your business and you want to have failovers in place. And nowadays it doesn't really matter if that failover is a power generator because your electricity might fail. It might even be a secondary system next to your cloud-based whatever ERP platform you're using. That you can still continue running your primary processes in business on, regardless if insert big cloud provider here isn't reachable because of, Cloudflare or some other system having it. And I mean, I like the whole premise of digital sovereignty because it translates incredibly well to open source. It's about transparency. It's about having choice. It's about being able to inspect the whole supply chain and all the dependencies of what you're running. It's about interoperability. I've for decades been advocating open source as buying into an exit strategy up front. It simply is sustainable access to your data and to your system. And it's also all about portability. It's all about being able to determine where you want to run your payloads and how to inspect them. And it's also, what I really like about where we're at right now is also the amount of attention that's being paid through open source and open standards, and also from the concept of digital sovereignty by the standardization bodies in Europe. You have CEN and CENELEC and ETSI. Everybody has probably heard of the Cyber Resilience Act and how that was supposed to be the end of open source as we know it. And, now that we know it's maybe not that, it might actually be a good thing because in open source, at least, we already have the whole transparency part in place. But it really is all about knowing your infrastructure and also knowing your data and knowing the interfaces that are interacting with your data. So yeah, the next chapter that we're now looking at as an open source ecosystem is also how do we demonstrate our technological and organizational maturity. It's not just about we have a product, we have a component, and that's an amazing, useful component, but also how sustainable is the community and support model around that. And the European Commission has actually just opened a consultation, public consultation, in which you can respond to how you, as an open source community participant, want to see the European Commission helping you with that. So yeah, it's super interesting, and I like how at the moment when I'm talking about open source in the Brussels bubble or the standardization bubble, there is not much distinction anymore between talking about open source versus talking about whatever proprietary system. It's all about demonstration of fitness for purpose, of quality control, of about performance monitoring. Of basically, it's all the same. And there's one term that I really like on a standard on medical devices that's very much applicable at the moment in the software domain and the regulatory domain. We're speaking on software as SOUP. And SOUP. SOUP stands for Software of Unknown Pedigree.
Okay.
Which basically, it doesn't really matter where it comes from. We just have to make sure that we are in control, that we're able to verify the functionality, that we're able to see if a vendor is implementing tests, if they are fixing bugs and patching vulnerabilities and all around it. We're treating everything basically equally. So yeah, have some soup.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much for all that information. It's really, really interesting to hear from someone who's already involved in open source for such a long time. I want to thank you very, very much. I want to thank you all very, very much for watching this video as well. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, or even better is leave a comment. And if you drop in a question that we're going to talk about in one of the other Friday Catch-ups, then you will be able to get a plush chameleon. So make sure that you leave a comment. One like Hans has as well. Thank you all for watching. Let's go back to Kafwerk, to Metropolis, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you all in Brussels. Bye-bye. Here we go.